Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine. I've got a lot of news I'd like to share with you today. So today's date is February 3rd, 2025, and it's Monday. So we're off to a new week here. And welcome back to the channel. If you're not aware, I was not here yesterday. On Sundays, we typically take that day off. And I'm announcing that because just over the weekend, we got something like 800 new subscribers. So welcome everybody to the channel. I think we're very close to 10K subscribers, and I'm absolutely blown away how fast the channel is growing. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Welcome to all the new people here. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. We had major attacks inside Russia once again last night. Ukraine launched well over 100 drones targeting two major facilities. We have the Volgograd refinery that came under attack once again. This is video footage coming out from there. And also the Astrakhan gas processing plant around the same area. These are both in southwestern Russia, close to the border of Ukraine, probably about maybe 200 kilometers away, not too far away. And it looks like the drone sanctions are continuing, okay? Almost every single day, we're reporting some sort of refinery or oil depot being hit here. So now a new report of this Astrakhan gas plant that was hit as well. So as far as I know, a little bit of details behind this. The Volgograd refinery looks like we had some damage there. I've got several videos coming out showing this thing on fire, just like what you see here. We know the flaring system was hit, which is like these towers that allow the system to burn off excess gas fumes from the facility to prevent any kind of explosion or fires from breaking out. And also several primary processing units were also damaged at that facility. So it looks like we have major damage to the Volgograd refinery to report, and we could potentially be hearing that it will be shut down here very soon. Also at the Astrakhan gas processing plant, we had reports there that the governor was stating that the plant was completely shut down soon after being attacked. So that's very big now that that's being shut down as well. And we continuously see this with a lot of oil refineries. And if this Volgograd refinery happens to be shut down here in the next 24 hours or so, that'll be 3 confirmed oil refineries in Russia just over the last couple weeks that have been shut down due to drone attacks. And this could be anywhere upwards of 16% of Russia's total refining output that is being shut down. So that's very big for Ukraine, and Russia's economy is going to be majorly damaged by that. Then we've also got some other reports we'll go over today, but so much to dive into. Let's go ahead and jump right into this, guys, from RBC Ukraine. Let me give you some details here on these 2 strikes on Volgograd and Astrakhan, okay? So oil and gas sanctions in action. Ukrainian drones hit Volgograd refinery and Astrakhan plant in Russia. This is coming out today, February 3rd, 2025. It says here, on the night of Monday, February 3rd, the Volgograd oil refinery and Astrakhan gas processing plant in Russia were attacked by Ukrainian drones from the Security Service, or SSU, and Special Operations Forces. According to RBC Ukraine, sources in the SSU, at the Volgograd plant, SSU and SOF drones hit the flare farm, primary processing units number 2 and number 3, as well as processing units number 20 and number 21. The gas condensate processing complex at Astrakhan gas processing plant was damaged. A fire is ongoing. The plant has been shut down and workers evacuated. Both affected facilities are major producers of fuel for the Russian army. The Volgograd refinery processes almost 6% of oil in Russia, and the Astrakhan gas processing plant is one of the key energy facilities in Russia, processing 12 billion cubic meters of gas condensate annually. So here's a couple photos that were coming out in Telegram, or videos, excuse me, but I'll show you some here on X in just a moment. Finally, it says right here, this is the 5th successful SSU special operation since the beginning of the year to target refineries and other Russian companies that operate in the military-industrial complex and produce fuel for the Russian army. The drone sanctions policy is proving to be effective, an SSU source said. I have to agree with that. I mean, we're definitely seeing major strikes on all these refineries in Russia right now. These are major refineries producing lots of oil and gas for their country. So it's definitely going to put a major hamper on the economy, and we should be seeing that moving forward. So now let's hop on over to X, and I've got several things I can show you over here. So we'll start off with Bliskovka. Ukrainian military hit Volgograd oil refinery and Astrakhan gas processing plant. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Both these strategic facilities are producers of large quantities of fuel for the Russian army. According to preliminary data, the primary processing units were damaged at the plant in the Volgograd region. Fires ongoing at the Astrakhan and gas processing plant. The work of the enterprise has been stopped. So this is actually a photo that came out, released by the Ukrainian military, showing a major fire here at Astrakhan. And I actually do have one video I can show you guys. Unfortunately, that's the only video that will be coming out from Astrakhan, but we've got lots for the Volgograd oil refinery, okay? So let's jump on over to a map now, and let me show you guys where these two facilities are located. Now, it was literally just 4 days ago that we talked about the Volgograd oil refinery being attacked. This is the second time in 1 week that it was attacked, okay? So we'll start off showing you where the Volgograd oil refinery is, and then I'll show you where Astrakhan gas processing plant is at. So here's Ukraine right here. Russian territory. Moscow's up here, just a little bit north of Ukraine. So we're going to go to the east of Ukraine over here towards the Volgograd region, which is this region right here. And just at the bottom of this river, we have Volgograd, okay, formerly known as Stalingrad. Okay, and just on the south side of this city, we have the Volgograd oil refinery, okay? And like I said, we just talked about this on January 31st. It was just 4 days ago, and it was hit repeatedly with multiple drones. We had a massive fire here that broke out. Looks like they were able to put out the fire for the most part, and it was attacked again, okay? So 2 times in 1 week, and this is something repeatedly we've seen from Ukraine, is they'll smash a facility like this, and this is a Lukoil oil refinery. Soon after, a few days later, we'll see drones come and hit it again, okay? So that's what we're seeing here. So you can see here, pretty massive refinery, lots of oil storage tanks at this facility as well. Here's more of it over here, okay? So very major facility that's being attacked here. And then just a little bit southeast of that, we have the Astrakhan region down here, okay? So we're going to zoom in. We have the city of Astrakhan right here, right near this river, the Volga River, the same river that runs by Volgograd. And then up here is where the facility's at, okay? It's probably, I'd say maybe 30, 40 kilometers north of Astrakhan. We have the Astrakhan gas processing plant, okay? So here it is right here. And when I show you guys the video footage here in just a little bit, there's an absolutely massive fire here, much bigger than what we see at Volgograd. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see some sort of halt in operations at Volgograd, but for sure this facility here took on some major damage and so much fire here. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these were hit, these oil storage tanks, because of how much fire we're going to see here. But it definitely took on some massive hits from these drones last night. And from what we understand, well over 100 drones were fired. So I'll show you guys the trajectory of where these drones were headed. So it looks like majority of the targets were this Astrakhan oil gas processing plant, and also the Volgograd refinery up here, okay? So major hits inside of Russia once again last night. These are probably anywhere from 200 to 300 kilometers from the border of Ukraine. It's kind of where they're located. So let's go ahead and hop on over to X again. And I've got several things to show you over here now. From Military News UA, Russia's reports large-scale launch of Ukrainian kamikaze drones targeting Russian territory. In total, they report the launch of 100 drones. The map shows the approximate route of the UAV flight. Okay, so take a look at this. Last time I showed you guys a report of drones going into Russia, they were mainly heading up in this direction over here, kind of like northeast of Ukraine. Now look at where a lot of these drones are headed, right towards the Volgograd Oblast, which is where Volgograd's right here, where that oil refinery is at. And then down here we have the Astrakhan Oblast. So you can see many of these drones were heading this direction. Some of them also going through Voronezh, heading over to Saratov. So reportedly, there was actually multiple regions being targeted last night, but as far as we know, some of the major hits were the Volgograd oil refinery and also the Astrakhan gas processing plant, okay? So now moving on to another update from Anton Gerashenko. At the Volgograd oil refinery, drone strikes hit the flare system, primary processing units number 2 and number 3, as well as process units number 20 and number 21. Volgograd oil refinery processes about 6% of all oil in Russia. So we got a 19-second video with sound here. Go ahead and take a look at this.
А ты возле Каустика видел, какая машина стоит?
Не.
Ебать, 4 пулемета нахуй. И никаких ракет, просто на газели. В кузове газели стоит 4 пулемета нахуй. На каком-то станке, и я так понимаю, что ты когда на курок нажимаешь, они все 4 ебашут. А ты возле Каустика видел?
All right, what we can see here is a pretty major flame coming out of the top of one of these towers, and it's probably that flaring system that got hit because we know for sure at least one of the flaring systems did take a direct hit. And generally, you will see some sort of flame coming out of the top of these, and a lot of times smoke. But this is much bigger of a flame than typically what you would see coming from one of these facilities, possibly indicating that that's exactly what was hit there just before this man started recording. We got another video here from Max24 Volgograd. We are just getting started. Okay, here's another video as well, about 26 seconds long. Take a look at this. All right, so now from a different angle, we can kind of see the same exact thing, that major fire, most likely on one of those flaring units. And then also we can hear more drones in the background. As far as I know, this thing was taking multiple hits. I do have a few videos that show it on fire already, and then soon after it's getting smashed by drones, okay? So on to another update now from Max24. He just got some fire emotes showing the Volgograd oil refinery. So we got one video here, and then also this is a picture of a direct strike on the facility after it was already on fire. Then we've got another video as well that kind of follows up with that photo. So we'll start off here with this first video.
Вон трассера летят. На нахуй. Уебало.
All right, so this video appears to capture a direct strike on the Volgograd oil refinery. You don't see much going on over here in the beginning, and then soon after, you see a strike right over in this direction. There's that explosion and direct strike with a drone, and I'm not sure exactly what was hit there. It could have been one of these processing units or maybe the flaring system, and this could have been what started that fire there in the very beginning, okay? So now we got a picture here also from Max24. It says Volgograd oil refinery, Bavovna, which means like explosion. That at least the word that they use in Ukrainian. So you can see there that direct strike on the facility as well. And this might be that same hit that we see in that previous video that we just watched right now. Maybe it's just from a different angle, but you're going to see that in the video coming up. So let's jump into our next video. Okay, so not too much sound here in this video, but we can see there was some anti-aircraft fire in the beginning, some small arms fire, and then soon after you see a smash on that facility right there in the beginning. Then you can hear that followed up explosion as well. So we'll move forward a little bit. It was right about here where we saw that. There it is, where that drone directly impacts the Volgograd oil refinery just prior to seeing all that that small arms fire trying to take down that incoming drone. Okay, so here's another one from Max24 again. Strike on Volgograd oil refinery. So this video kind of shows the same thing. We'll go back here a little bit. You can see it right in the beginning. If you look closely, you can see a quick flash of light there from one of these drones striking the facility. Okay, so I believe multiple drones were hitting this thing. You can see major flame coming out of the top of one of those flaring units as well. So definitely got hit multiple times. And we'll jump into another update here now from Ozin Technical. Major fire on firms. Okay, so even some of the fire maps were indicating that there was multiple fires that broke out here on this facility. So this is kind of the different locations of the fires right here. And then soon after, there was an update, and it says here from Ozin Technical, the fires continue to grow. You can see here they were much larger than before. Okay, so it looks like mainly up here in this corner and on this side is where a majority of these fires were at. If you remember, I kind of showed you this separate facility over here closer to the river. So definitely multiple fires broke out over here on the Volgograd oil refinery. Here's one more from Max24. More of a Bavovna in Volgograd. Okay, so here's another good video showing a massive fire over here on the Volgograd oil refinery. And this looks like maybe that same flaring unit that got hit, and maybe the fire got much larger. We can definitely see it a lot better here in this video, okay? So now on to another one from Anton Gerashenko. Astrakhan gas processing plant stopped working after a drone strike, said the governor of Astrakhan region. This is one of the largest gas chemical complexes, in the world, and the largest enterprise in Astrakhan region of Russia. The plant produces gas, diesel fuel, technical sulfur, etc. Earlier, it was reported that the gas condensate processing element was damaged by the drone attack. So here's kind of a photo of this facility. As you can see here, this is the Astrakhan gas processing plant near Astrakhan inside of Russia. Then we've got a video we can show you as well. It says here from Anton Gerashenko, Russian Telegram channels reports a large fire at Astrakhan gas processing plant after a drone attack. So let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. About 23 seconds long, massive fire over here at Astrakhan gas processing plant. Soon after, had to shut down and all the workers were evacuated. Take a look at this.
Завод взорвался, короче. Взрыв такой, блин. Я проснулся. Капец, короче, все горит тут. В первую очередь горит. Жесть. Проснулся от хлопка, короче. Валю на тайгу. Второй взрыв сейчас прогремел. Завод взорвался, короче.
All right, so a much larger fire we can see here at the Astrakhan gas processing plant, which makes sense why this place shut down today. Now, I don't know for sure if the Volgograd oil refinery will be shut down. We'll hear maybe the next day or so if that's going to be the case. We didn't happen to see as major of a fire over there as we're seeing here, but definitely up close we can see this facility definitely took some major hits last night. So crazy story there. Now we're going to jump on to Max 24 Russians. And he has a report here from Telegram. Looks like some of the Russians were writing here on Telegram. And it says the Ukrainian armed forces attack on the Volgograd region began an hour after the celebration of the day of the defeat of Nazi troops in the Battle of Stalingrad. On this day, Volgograd is renamed Stalingrad for a day in the honor of the 82nd anniversary of the victory. Okay, so while the Russians were trying to celebrate for the day of defeat against the Nazis back in World War II in the Battle of Stalingrad, just an hour later, looks like they were being attacked by these drones already. So it looks like Ukraine wasn't even giving them time to even celebrate for this nearly an hour later, already smashing the Volgograd oil refinery, okay? Now we're going to talk about a report that came out today from Moscow. We had a man that supposedly could be like a crime boss and was organizing a combat unit here for Ukraine to fight inside Ukraine. Apparently, he was eliminated today. So let's talk about this here. This is from War Translated Dmitry. The first moment after the explosion at the Alye Parusa residential complex in Moscow, where collaborator and crime boss Armen Sarkisian, responsible for organizing a combat unit, fighting against Ukraine, may have been eliminated. So allegedly he actually was. I have a report right after this to show you guys this, but there was some sort of explosion at one of the lobbies here inside of the residential complex where he was living at. So probably this was Ukraine's GUR maybe carrying out another strike on him. So he apparently had formed like a combat unit to go fight inside Ukraine, to fight inside of Ukrainian territory against the Ukrainians. And looks like somebody ordered a hit on him and eliminated him. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this video real quick.
Что-то взорвалось там. Пошалеть. Либо лифт упал, что ли, либо что-то взорвалось. Что-то взорвалось.
All right, so from what I understand behind this story, this is like the main lobby here and one of the entrances to this residential complex, and I believe he was just coming out and maybe heading out or just walking in, one of the two, and soon after there was a massive explosion. There's a lot of talk about what the explosion could have been caused by. Some people were saying it was a grenade. Some other people were saying that there was a bomb or some sort of explosive device that was attached to the ceiling, and then as soon as he walked in, it was detonated, and he was hit by the shrapnel, basically, is what happened. So we've got a picture here of him as well. This apparently is one of the crime bosses that formed a combat unit to fight inside of Ukraine, and most likely Ukraine ordered a hit on him is what it looks like to me. Now for Max 24, criminal Armen Sarkisian, who was injured in an explosion in a Moscow residential complex, died in intensive care without regaining consciousness. The preliminary cause is a penetrating chest wound by shrapnel in the heart area. Okay, so, this is literally in Moscow where we continuously see this happening. We're seeing a lot of Russian generals many times. There was a Russian general not too long ago that was eliminated inside of Moscow, I believe, as well. Now, yet again, another attack inside of Moscow. We repeatedly see this. So even inside of Moscow, many of these generals and anybody relating to this war that you might be involved with forming a combat unit or such like this, they're not even safe inside of Moscow. Okay, there's lots of attacks happening over there, and we've seen this multiple times. Even cars being blown up. Russian officers are being killed many times, even in eastern Ukraine and like the Donetsk region or Luhansk. We've seen that before. So yet again, another attack on now on a crime boss. Okay. So now for military news UA, within 24 hours, a Russian Buk M3 air defense system and a Strela 10 air defense system were destroyed in the area of responsibility of the Southern Defense Forces. Okay, so this is probably somewhere down south in like Zaporizhia or Kherson region. Could potentially also be in Crimea. But this was another report of 2 air defense systems being destroyed here. Buk M3 and also a Strela M10 or a Strela 10, excuse me. Yeah, most likely this was maybe even due to some of the Magura V5 naval drones that Ukraine uses. I've been seeing reports over the last week where almost every day we've been having Magura V5 drones attacking Crimea. And what we've heard recently is that the Ukrainians are now attaching FPV drones to the top of these. And soon after they use them to strike, some sort of boat or something or destroy a dock in Crimea, they'll actually launch these FPV drones and attack land-based targets as well. So it's possible that's what could have been destroyed over here. Or maybe it was Baba Yaga. You guys can let me know what you think down below. Now from Max 24, Polish Deputy Defense Minister arrived in Kiev on an unannounced visit. He will hold a series of meetings in Kiev with representatives of the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian defense industry. He is accompanied by the leadership of Polish Arms Group. Okay, so it looks like we're going to potentially see Poland getting more involved with Ukraine very soon. Probably going to sign some more major defense contracts with Ukraine. And we are seeing a lot of this right now. Okay, we're seeing a lot of defense contractors and companies from different European nations mainly heading over to Ukraine, starting to sign deals with them. So Ukraine's defense industry is building up very big as well behind this. Okay, they're making a lot of money also off of selling, weapons, arms, whatever it might be. So more collaboration between Poland and Ukraine reported today. Now from next, critical excess of a powerful carcinogen has been found in the soil of Anapa's beaches. Now Anapa is down near the Black Sea, close to Sochi, where Putin used to have one of his vacation homes, but he removed it. He had it demolished due to potential strikes from like missiles coming from Ukraine or anything like that, or drones. So it says here the level of benzopyrene, a substance classified as highly hazardous, exceeds from the permissible norm by more than 20 times. Environmental care in Russia looks like this: launching rusty, oil-covered barges into the sea that should have been decommissioned 20 years ago, completely neglecting and ignoring the problem, leaving it to volunteers who were then obstructed at every step, destroying the ecosystem, killing thousands of birds, dolphins, and marine organisms, and turning the resorts of Crimea and Krasnodar region into a contaminated zone. The most important thing is to pretend that everything is going according to plan so that no one asks questions. So when does the tourist season start again is what Next asked. So just about a month and a half ago, I want to say, maybe close to 2 months ago, not too long ago, we had multiple Volgograd oil tankers that were sinking off the coast of Crimea. And it happened to cause a major environmental disaster over here. We had some of the beaches like Anapa, which is a major tourist attraction spot inside of Russia, and it was covered with oil, as you can see here in the photo. And it looks like now there's been high levels of benzopyrene, which is a hazardous substance being found in the beaches over here. And obviously that'd be very dangerous to go hang out over here on the beach. I wouldn't want to take my kids over here if I had any family members. It could be very dangerous to be around those high substances or highly detected substances. So, we continuously see, more damage to the beaches down here. And this is going to affect major tourist attractions in these areas. So this is something we've been talking a lot about. And this is an environmental risk, not only to Russia, but around the world as well. Think about like the Baltic nations, where lots of these oil tankers are going through there in the Baltic Sea. And imagine if these things start sinking over there, we could have major environmental issues in the Baltic area as well. Now from Bliskovka, the U.S. delivered only half of the aid promised to Ukraine in 2024 for this year, according to Reuters. Also, Ukraine received only 30% of armored vehicles as of early December 2024. Okay, so this is a big report coming out today, and we've been hearing a lot of this coming out from Ukraine as well, where they're stating that, they're not getting the weapon supplies that many countries are agreeing to. Even Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, has come out and said that many times, that many NATO nations have not been contributing to Ukraine, even when they come out and pledge that they're going to send air defense systems or whatever it might be. So that's pretty crazy if that happens to be the case. Only half of the promised weapons deliveries from the U.S. has been delivered to Ukraine. Okay, that was a new report today. Now from Igor Sushko, Russia workers being evacuated from the Orenburg gas processing plant amid danger of Ukrainian strikes. The Gazprom plant sits on a gas field of 1.76 trillion, I don't know if it's cubic meters of proven reserves, and it says here 1,770 kilometers or square kilometers of outputs, billions of cubic meters of natural gas annually, 1,200 kilometers from Ukraine. Okay, so Orenburg is actually, it's very far away. It's just north of like Kazakhstan, about 1,200 kilometers deep into Russian territory. And we had this video coming out showing all these buses carrying all the workers there from this processing plant, trying to evacuate everybody. And this is a big sign, too, that, this got to be taking major hits to Russia's economy as well, because even if these facilities aren't being struck, well, at the same time, if they have to evacuate everybody, that means they got to shut down even temporarily for 24 hours or whatever it might be. And, that's more gas and production that's being stopped and halted, okay? So that's a big report out today as well. Now for Max 24, 94 Shahed UAVs entered Belarusian airspace in January. 2 were shot down, Belaruski Gayun reported. 30 UAVs returned to Ukraine and Russia. 62 drones disappeared. 2 shot down by air defense. Okay, so this is a pretty crazy report. I wanted to show you guys this. We haven't talked about Belarus too much lately, but apparently Belarus complaining that 94 drones had entered their territory in January. Okay, so just in the last month, almost 100 of these Shahed drones entering back into their territory. And what we've heard is that Ukraine does have the ability to use electronic warfare to basically redirect many of these Shahed drones that come into the northern side of their territory up here. They'll redirect them back into Russia or into Belarus here. So that's pretty crazy that 94 drones out of the entire month went back into Belarus from all these attacks every day. Also from Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, our Ukrainian weapons help preserve the lives of our warriors and achieve results on the battlefield. Our defense production, both equipment and ammunition, expands our security zone and arsenal of capabilities. Consistently strengthening this potential every year is an obvious strategic perspective for Ukraine. I thank everyone who makes our army technologically advanced, all Ukrainian manufacturers, our entire public sector, and all partners investing in defense production in Ukraine. So he posted a few photos of the different weapons that they have that they're working on right now. Here's a photo of a Baba Yaga drone. You can see here some of the bombs that are attached to these, and a lot of times they use these to blow up air defense systems or drop these bombs in trenches, destroy vehicles. It's a very large drone. And I was looking at this and I wasn't really sure exactly what this is. I was thinking maybe this has something to do with the fiber optics that are connected to some of the drones, that maybe this is some of the lines that they use whenever they launch these fiber optic drones, the FPV drones that Ukraine is using. But if you guys know what this is, let me know down below in the comments. Here's another drone that they were working on as well. Not sure if this is a Liudi drone. Looks like a smaller drone here that was being used. Could be reconnaissance. And then here's a picture of the Magura V5 naval drones. These are some of the almost like literally like a boat. And they attach explosives to these and use them to crash them into ships or destroy ports and attack Crimea. We see a lot of that. And also they're starting to install FPV drones on the tops of these. So now we'll move on to another update from War Translate Dmitry. In an intercepted conversation, a Bryansk resident described heavy Russian losses near Kupiansk, noting that their people go, but no one returns. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy clip here. I want to show you guys this. There's going to be subtitles on the screen. It will be in Russian, but I want you guys to see what she's saying here. She's going to be complaining that many of the soldiers that head towards Kupiansk, they basically don't return and come back. And we've heard about Kupiansk a lot. The Russians have been trying to push into that city in eastern Ukraine, but so far have been unable to take it over. So take a look at this video real quick.
Он на позициях, он не может оттуда. Когда вот он тот раз был почти что 2 месяца на передовой, там кошмар. Там же, там оттуда, там мясорубка надо. Это не то, что пишут и показывают здесь. Там далеко от правды. Нет, значит, Это мы не знаем там. Это все, кто сзади еще вот какое-то время был там сзади. Там не так, там и на связь он выходил, там не так страшно. А у его нету. Вот он сказал, наши все уходят, что никто не возвращается оттуда. Там все лежат, там кровью политое все. Там кровью и костями все. Там поеденное, там все. Он на позиции.
All right, so a pretty crazy clip coming out from here, from the Bryansk region, and you can see this woman talking about how the rear side of the military in Russia appears to be a little bit safer. That for the most part, they don't have to worry about losing their lives. But once they end up on the front, especially near Kupiansk, many people who enter over there never come back. She talks about how it's a meat grinder. And this is very good evidence here of what it really is like on the front for the Russians, and something I've been stating for a long time now, and it just makes perfect sense to me. And it's really simple and easy way to understand how this war is developing. Is that if Russia really wasn't taking on massive losses, and I'm not saying that Ukraine isn't as well, Ukraine's probably taken massive losses as well. But if the Russians, were not taking massive losses, they'd be steamrolling right through Ukraine. This war would have been over with a long time ago. But if you look at this, 3 years later, Russia has taken over territory inside of Ukraine, but most likely not nearly as much as they expected to. I think maybe they expected to just kind of roll through Ukraine. It would have been done and over with. But the fact that it's been dragging out for so long, this is very big indicator here that Russia is taking on massive losses, okay, if they're really not moving that quickly. All right, also take a look at this from More Translated Dmitry. Here are the trucks standing there. They brought corpses on it. One of the numerous mass graves on the territory of the so-called LDNR. This is in the Luhansk region, okay? Human hands and shovels are not enough to deal with the burial of missing persons on such an industrial scale. The footage shows excavators working and bodies being brought in by trucks. Okay, so this is reportedly a mass grave being constructed in the Luhansk region of Ukraine. Okay, this is in like northeastern Ukraine. And we've got like some backhoes over here and industrial equipment creating these massive graves. And, imagine they got to figure out where to put all these bodies at, okay, especially in eastern Ukraine. And so it looks like they're starting to construct some mass burial grave sites. Take a look at this.
Вот, ребят, это работает экскаватор. Это братская могила, бля. Вот, бля, фура стоит, на ней привезли, бля. И вон сейчас там дальше увидите. Вот. Там вот, вон, видите, фуры стоят. Вот это все, короче, привезли, бля, трупы, бля. Братские могилы, короче, хоронят здесь пацанов и потом говорят, что пропали без вести, бля. Вон, видите, затаскивают. В общем, вот такая жопа здесь творится. Вот.
All right, pretty scary, right? So something that I was thinking of is if they were to build mass grave sites, it would probably be built in eastern Ukraine, not so much inside of Russia, to kind of keep this hidden away from the public. Now, you guys can let me know what you think down below, but does this look like a massive burial site? And you see all these trucks coming into, or these potential trucks bringing in all these bodies here? I mean, it's very possible. I'm not sure if this is going to be used for farming or who really knows here, but highly likely this could be a mass burial site, and pretty insane video coming out from the Luhansk region. Now from Euromaidan Press, Kazakhstan just found a way around Russia's oil dominance. The massive Kashagan field sent its first shipment via Azerbaijan, aiming to slash Russian transit by 80%. 13 billion barrels, of oil will now flow west without Moscow's control. All right, so this report just came out today from Euromaidan Press, and it says Kazakhstan just broke Russia's grip on its oil exports. One of the world's largest oil fields starts flowing through Azerbaijan. Okay, we got a little map here that kind of shows this is Kazakhstan right here. Russia's territory is up here. And it looks like there was a pipeline here. It looks like it's called CPC pipeline that ran through Kazakhstan and then eventually through Russia over to the port of Novorossiysk. Here's Crimea right here in Ukraine. And I believe Kazakhstan's trying to get away from this, okay? And they're transporting oil now from the Kashagan field down here, just near the Caspian Sea, and they're transporting it over to Azerbaijan and using this pipeline over here. So that's very big, okay? We're seeing a lot of this. There's a lot of countries that are pulling away from Russia right now, and Russia's going to be taking a huge hit from this as well. Just imagine all these oil refineries being destroyed, their oil depots being hit, and then now also this major pipeline here that's going to be cut off, and Russia's not going to be able to use this no more. We had pipelines cut off through Ukraine, so I mean, I don't know how Russia's still doing this right now with all these major hits to their economy. They're definitely not exporting as much oil and gas as they used to just prior to the war. And the further that this war is going on, it's getting much worse every single day for Russia. So pretty insane report here today. This is 80% reduction in Russian routes. 20 million tons planned annually, okay, is now going to be going through Azerbaijan. And we're also hearing recently that Ukraine wants to work with Azerbaijan as well, transporting liquefied natural gas to Europe, also using the same pipeline. So pretty crazy. Now, next update from Volgograd 24, a drone has been used to blow up a railway bridge near Seversk in the Donetsk region. Major explosion. So take a look at this, guys. We had a massive explosion over here. I'll kind of go back a little bit, but there was a drone coming in, and it looks like we had some explosives here packed onto this bridge, and then soon after, it's going to show us the explosion. I mean, look at the size of that explosion. It almost looked like an atomic bomb going off. You can see that blast just everywhere. Look at all the shrapnel going everywhere, all over that this little waterway here soon after. Check that out. So pretty insane, okay? Massive explosion over here destroying this bridge. Okay, and this is again in Seversk, okay, in the Donetsk region of Ukraine. So pretty crazy. Now, for more translated Dmitry, we have our own underwater drone. The time will come when the president will say so, says Colonel Sukharevsky, commander of the Unmanned System Forces. He added that he believes that this drone will destroy the Crimean Bridge. Okay, very big report today now. New underwater drone, okay? The last time I've ever talked about an underwater drone in terms of war was down with the Houthis, okay? The Houthis in Yemen, they actually have apparently some underwater drones that they get from Iran, and this was there were some worries with the U.S. military that's operating down there. CENTCOM forces were worried about this, that the Houthis could be deploying some of these underwater drones. That could be much harder for, for the U.S. military to destroy those. And yes, this could be very big for Ukraine. If Ukraine does have an underwater drone, they definitely could use this to destroy the Crimean Bridge and also to attack more of Russia's warships, some of them stationed sometimes over at Novorossiysk. They could also use this to attack Crimea more as well. Now for Max 24, again, a serious fire broke out in the hangar with gas cylinders in northeast Moscow. Explosions are heard and thick black smoke is visible. The roof of the building has already collapsed. Okay, so yet again, another fire inside of Moscow, guys. Take a look at this. All right, so repeated fires almost every single week over here in Moscow. There's just all kinds of different warehouses. Sometimes we see furniture factories burning to the ground. So I'm not sure exactly what causes fire, but literally at least once or twice a week, we're reporting a major fire in Moscow. So it could be something to do with the war, but I'm not really sure about that. If I get more information, I'll let you guys know. Also from next, Zelensky denies claims that the U.S. gave Ukraine $177 billion during the war. He insists that Kiev has received only $75 billion. I don't know where all the money is, he said in an interview with Associated Press. Okay, so apparently the U.S. is coming out and saying that they gave Ukraine $177 billion during this the duration of this war. But yeah, so Zelensky's saying, no, we only received $75 billion. So who really knows how much Ukraine got? Especially behind the scenes, maybe Ukraine got even a lot more that's not even announced. There's only so much that the public is going to know about, but he's claiming that they only received $75 billion. So if it's really true that they got $177 billion, that's an extra $102 billion. And if they did really get that 177, where did it all go? I guess that's the big question there. What happened to the money, right? But you guys can let me know what you think down below regarding that. Now from Anton Yeroshenko, France will double its defense budget, says Emmanuel Macron. He urged other EU members to join this effort and identified 7 key factors where Europe must act together. Okay, so we heard an update here from Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, that they're going to be doubling their defense budget. Okay, so that's very big, and we're continuously seeing this from a lot of European nations now. They're starting to step up. Once Trump got into office, he came out and said that all NATO nations need to push for like 5% defense spending. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this video real quick. It's going to be a little bit low, so try your best to listen to it.
Achat par nos budgets nationaux, donc la France aura doublé à l'issue des 2 lois de programmation militaire son budget de défense, en lançant aussi des grands projets, et j'invite tous les autres partenaires à le faire. Mais nous avons aussi besoin de plus de financement européen et ceci vient préfigurer le prochain cadre budgétaire. Donc il faut davantage de financement public, davantage de financement privé aussi, en changeant les modes de financement de la Banque européenne d'investissement, en sortant de cette taxonomie, c'est un élément de simplification qui nous a contraints pour financer davantage d'efforts de défense, et en préférant l'achat européen. Nous avons aussi identifié 7 secteurs clés où l'Europe doit agir ensemble. L'achat par nos budgets.
All right, so we can see he's also encouraging more European nations to step up and join in and start increasing their defense spending. We should naturally see that already, just as we know that NATO is going to be naturally increasing their defense spending. We're going to see a lot of countries starting to spend much more on defense than they did before. So that was a new update coming out from France today. Now, two more things to share with you before we get you out of here from Bliskovka. Air Defense Forces of Ukraine shot down 38 out of 71 Russian UAVs. 25 imitator drones were lost in the area. Aerial targets were destroyed in the Kharkiv, Poltava, Sumy, Kiev, Cherniv, Cherkasy, Zaporizhia, Dnipropetrovsk, Vinnytsia, and Khmelnytsky, regions. So it looks like we had 71 drones from Russia last night that were fired into Ukraine, 38 of them being destroyed, 25 also being lost in the area. So we consistently see that about 50% or more of these drones are taken down inside of Ukraine every single day. Finally, one last update for you guys from the Kyiv Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of February 3rd, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. All right, guys, final update of the day. Russia's losses as of February 3rd, 1,300 troops, 18 AFVs, 89 vehicles and fuel tanks, 12 tanks, 51 artillery systems, 118 UAVs, 1 MLRS, 2 special equipment, and 3 anti-aircraft warfare systems. Okay, so lots of losses being reported on the Russian side today, much higher amount of tanks than what we've been seeing recently. Also, a lot of artillery systems. I saw 51 here. I was like, wow, that's a lot. Lots of drones and special equipment, anti-aircraft warfare systems. We talked about those for sure. At least 2 were destroyed just over the last 24 hours, but they're claiming 3 here. So lots of big updates coming out from this war today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the end of this video. I understand it was a much longer video today, but there was so much news coming out. Wanted to try to cram it in here and get it in there for you. But I want to thank you again so much, guys, for all the subscribers that came out over the weekend. I think it was almost 1,000 subscribers just in the last 36 hours. So thank you very much for being here, guys, and for tuning in for this update today. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.